Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. So today we're going to learn new topic, that is chapter 4. It is a principle of double entry and try balance. Okay, chapter 4, principle of double entry and try balance. So what will we learn in this chapter? There are 4 subtopics here. So the first one, we're going to see the double entry system. What is the double entry system? And then next we're going to learn about the ledger entry, how to make the ledger entries. Third, we're going to learn about the balancing of ledgers accounts. And last but not least is the try balance. Okay, so let's take a look at the first subtopic, that is duality concept. So what is the duality concept? Duality concept means for every transaction they must have two-sided or dual effect on each parties involved in it. Okay, parties here is referring to the debit and credit. Okay, so this duality concept, also known as double entry system. Okay, so now let's take a look at this table. So I hope you still remember the chapter 3. Last week, I already talked to you about the acronym of LR, okay? LR, please remember this, okay? It's very important, LR, okay? So, here is the debit side and here is the credit side. Okay. So, here A, asset and expenses. When asset and expenses increases, it will be on debit side. Whereas if assets and expenses is decreases, it will be on the credit side. Okay, so usually I will only remember this part only. Okay, ingat satu je. So you tahulah, ingat satu. So kalau macam terbalik, of course lah dia akan jadi terbalik lah. Okay, so how about the LOR, liability, owner's equity and revenue? When liabilities, owner's equity and revenue increases, it will be on credit side. We will record it on credit side. Okay, just remember this formula. Okay, so now let's go to the next slide. Okay, example of double entry. Okay, for example, if you see here, 5th of January, this is the transaction. 5th January, Faris buy 200 ringgit goods by cash. So, by referring to this transaction, you must identify the effect first. What is the effect? Faris buy 200 ringgit goods by cash. So, maksudnya cash decrease. Buy goods, maksudnya goods increase. Okay, so cash is your asset, expenses, liability, owner's equity or revenue. Cash is your asset, so that's why effect here decrease, asset decrease. Okay, so how about buy 200 goods? Buy, when you buy, it means that it will increase your expenses. So, whenever you saw buy 200 ringgit goods, buy je is referring to the expenses. So that's why here increase expenses. Okay. So first you dapat identify the effect. So now, by referring to the acronym of LOR, so you tahu tak? Okay, asset increase, asset, so maksudnya asset increase, asset decrease. When asset decrease, it will be on your credit. Expense increase, so it will be on your debit. Nampak tak? A sebelah sini, so sekarang ni A tu menurun, so sebab tu I said you must credit the asset. Tapi kita tak akan tulis credit asset. You must write credit cash. Nampak tak ni? Credit cash. Debit purchase. Ni. Buy goods ni. We know it has purchase. Okay. Purchase tu kan expenses. So sebab tu mula-mula setiap kali transaction, I suruh you classify apa yang increase, apa yang decrease. Because apa yang decrease dan apa yang increase tu akan menjadi name of your account yang you akan tulis dekat double entry ni. Okay. Can you follow? So I recap balik First, whenever you see a transaction, okay, mula-mula sekali yang you kena buat ialah classifykan effect dia. So sekarang ni Faris buy 200 ringgit goods by cash. Bila beli secara cash, of course cash you yang akan berkurang. So first step, this one, circle kan, cash decrease. Buy 200 goods, so buy akan increase lah. Buy ni is referring to the purchase. Tulis purchase. Okay, so next, lepas you dah pun classify apa yang increase and decrease, okay, effect. Second, you must classify it into LOR. Whether this purchase is an asset, an expenses, liability, honest equity or revenue. So you say purchase is an expenses. Okay. So cash is your asset, expenses, liability, honest equity or revenue. Cash is your asset. Okay. From this, you dah tahu. Nampak tak? Sebab LOR ni debit, ni credit. Third dia, you kena determine which one on debit side and which one on credit side. Since you already know the debit side is only for when asset and expenses increases. Okay, sekarang ni you punya asset decrease, automatically it will be on your credit side. So what you must write here, what account involved here? It is your cash account. So purchase is your expenses. When expenses increases, so it is on debit side. So what accounts involved here? It is a purchase account. So you tulis nama dia purchase. How much? 200 ringgit. So 200 ringgit, 200 ringgit. This is how you're going to determine the double entry for every transaction. You must follow this step. Okay. So now let's go to the account. What is account? An individual accounting records of increase and decrease in specific assets, liability, capital, revenue and expenses. First step tadi kita buat kan, effect. Lepas kepada asset, expenses, liability, security or revenue. Okay, so it's referred as T account or ledger account. Okay, so T account ni consists of three parts. First, the title of accounts. Second is the left side or debit side. Third is the right side or credit side. So maksudnya account ni dia mesti ada title, debit side and credit side. An act of entering an amount on the left side of account is called debiting an account, and making entry on the right side is crediting the account. Okay, Faham tak? Bila kita masukkan figure di sebelah kredit ni, kita cakap we are crediting the account. Contoh tadi, debit purchase 200k. So purchase 200. So we are debiting the purchase account. Ni je yang you perlu tahu. Okay, this is the account or ledger account. Ni. So first you can ada account title. Second, you must have the debit side and credit side. So double entry means that every transaction is recorded twice. Thus, in accounting, all transactions have dual effect. Once to the debit side of a ledger account and once to the credit side of another ledger account. Okay, macam ni lah. So the account ni you kena ada date. Particulars ni maksudnya account apa yang involve lah. Kalau macam tadi kita akan debit purchase kan, so purchase lah. Amount dia apa? 200. Okay, tarikh dia 5th of January if I'm not mistaken. Yes, okay, 5th of January. So sama lah, 5th of January you akan credit you punya asset, you punya cash kan. So 200 macam ni lah. So now let's go to the rules to identify whether the transaction should be debited or credited. Okay, classes of account. Kita ada asset, capital, revenue, expenses, drawing and liabilities. Okay, so again you just perlu tahu the acronym. Asset, capital ni honest equity lah. Drawing pun honest equity. Okay, so the effect dia, when asset increase you akan debit. Asset increase, debit. Expenses increase, debit. Liability increase, credit. Honest equity increase, debit. Debit ke? Ini honest equity kita tulis sebelah kredit kan. Tapi sekarang ni drawing tu akan mengurangkan honest equity. That's why drawing ni bila dia increase dia akan jadi debit. Okay, so tengok sini, capital akan menambahkan honest equity. So that's why bila increase dia akan jadi credit. So expansion dia boleh jadi dealer. Drawing, expenses, asset, liability. Sebenarnya C ni tapi nak mencantikkan acronym tu, so I still remain with O. Okay, sebenarnya capital lah, C, and then R. Inilah expansion. I just keluarkan drawing sebab honest equity kan consists of drawing, capital, profit and loss. Okay, boleh. So you all just ingat dealer or LR, but I prefer you all to remember LR sebab nanti supaya you all tahu drawing ni actually belong to honest equity. Alright, so analysis of transaction. The following step should be followed in analyzing the transaction. First, determine the impact of the transaction on the two items involved. And the second, determine whether an asset, liability, honest equity, revenue, expenses account is affected by the transaction. And for each item account affected by the transaction, determine whether the account increase or decrease. Then determine whether each increase or decrease should be recorded as debit or credit. Samalah as I told you. Mula-mula sekali you akan tengok effect. Lepas tu klasifikasikan kepada error. And then you akan decide sama ada which one need to be debit and which one need to credit. Okay? Ingat 3 step je. Okay, so now kita boleh go for the example. On 1st of January, board computer worth 2,500 by check. So first, tell me the effect. So effect here, board computer. So of course, computer you akan increase. Worth 2,500 by check. So of course, you punya check akan decrease. Check is referring to the bank. Okay, tak payah guna cash, but you bayar guna maybe debit card. Guna check lah sekarang ni, obviously. Okay. So, if of the transaction increase, computer is your asset. So, increase in asset, computer. Bank is your asset as well. So, increase in asset, bank. Okay. So, double entry rule. Silap. Ni decrease. Sorry. Decrease. So, when asset increase, you must debit. So, debit computer. Credit when asset decrease, so you must credit the bank by 2,500. So this is your ledger entry. So now let's go to the ledger account. Ledger account you akan jadi macam ni. First kita akan buka untuk komputer. So komputer on debit side. So kita pun akan debiting the komputer lah. Satu. Okay, since kita membuka account untuk komputer, so untuk particulars ni kita tak boleh nak tulis komputer juga. So dekat bila kita buka ledger account, okay, particulars ni kita akan ambil ni yang bertentangan dengan dia, iaitu bank. So kita pun tulis bank. Kalau bank account pula, kita buka okay, bank. Buat the account, debit side, credit side. So bank kita credit kan, so kita akan crediting the bank account. So first kita kena tulis date 1st of January. So particulars dia you akan tulis computer. How much? 2,500. Macam ni. So bila kita tengok komputer ni, kita tahu, oh, debit. Komputer debit maksudnya kita beli ni satu bulan satu, kita beli komputer. Kita beli komputer menggunakan apa? Gunakan bank kita. Kalau kita tengok bank, okay, bank kan asset. So bila belah kredit maksudnya kita mengurangkan asset. So kita tahu on 1st of January bank kita berkurang sebab kita bayar komputer, kita beli komputer. Sebab tu particulars ni you must ambil yang opposite dia. Tak boleh kalau komputer account you pun tulis kat sini komputer, particulars dia sebagai komputer. Dia tak membawa maksud apa-apa. Okay, kena ingat cara nak buat ledger account ni. Ni you akan prepare ledger account ni dalam you punya assignment. Test kita tak suruh pun. Okay, dalam you punya assignment. So now kita pergi kepada example of liabilities. On 3rd January, board office equipment worth 1,000 on credit from Jati Prabut. So okay, board office equipment maksudnya increase in office equipment. Worth 1,000 on credit from Prabut, Jati Prabut. So maksudnya Jati Prabut ni kita punya account payable. sebab kita beli on credit. Okay. Tapi account payable ni dia ada dua. Non-trade account payable and trade account payable. Account payable. Maksudnya non-trade account payable ni is referring to other than you punya supplier. Sebab trade payable ni is only for your supplier. Tapi kalau macam ni, dia cakap kan, more office equipment. Maksudnya Jati Prabut ni is not your supplier. So Jati Prabut is your non-trade account payable. Bila non-trade account payable, you mesti tulis nama dia, Jati Prabut. You tak boleh tulis account payable sahaja. Sebab account payable ni is referring to your supplier only. So nanti please dalam assignment, tolong ya, tulis account payable ni nama supplier. Kalau macam ni non-trade account payable, dia tulis nama dia sahaja, Jati Prabut. So I tahu bila you tulis nama je, maksudnya dia ialah you punya non-trade account payable, bukan you punya supplier. Kalau you tulis account payable, so I tahu, oh, this is your supplier. Okay. So now kita tengok effect. Okay, kita tengok. So apa yang akan you debitkan? Account payable is your liability. So LOR. Office equipment is your asset. So when asset increase, you debit. So debit office equipment. And then you credit you punya Jati Prabut. Because Jati Prabut is your liability. When liability increase, it's on your credit side. So Jati Prabut. Okay. How much? By 1,000 ringgit. 1,000. Okay. So now let's do the ledger account. So you pun buka account tu equipment account. So this is debit side, this is credit side. Since you are debiting your office equipment, so the date is 3rd of January. So particulars will be your Jati Prabut RM 1,000. Then you pun akan buka you punya Jati Prabut. Okay. Debit, credit. So since you crediting your Jati Prabut, so on 3rd of January, particular will be your office equipment 1,000. Okay. Macam ni lah. This is how you going to answer. Okay. You tulis lah comel-comel. So now we're going to take a look at the capital. On 4th January, the owner deposited 10,000 into the business bank account. Okay. The owner deposited 10,000 bank account. So maksudnya, of course, bank you akan increase but deposited. Bila owner, automatically it will be your capital. So capital owner tu akan increase. Okay. So now back to basic. LOR. So when capital is your owner's equity. So when your owner's equity increases, you will credit capital. Bank is your asset. So when an asset is increases, you will debit bank. 10,000 10,000. Okay, so now kita akan buat ledger account. Okay, bank. So kita akan buka bank account. Tapi remember, kita dah pun pernah. Okay, this year. Okay, bank account kita dah pernah buka bank account. So kita letak je bank account 4th January. Capital, particulars will be your capital 10,000. Okay, sebab kita tujuan kita buat ledger ni sebab nanti kita akan nak buat balancing of figure. Sebab tu kita samakan bank, computer, equipment account, jati perabot account. So now capital. Okay, so pun buka je lah capital. Ni sepatutnya dalam one sheet lah, but I dalam slide. So macam ni lah, right? So, I harap you faham. So capital, since you credit, so on 4th of January, particulars will be your bank 10,000. Okay, like this. So next, expenses. On 6th of January, paid rent amounting to 500 ringgit by check. So effect dia paid rent. So of course rent increase amounting to 500 ringgit by check. So of course you punya check decrease. Check is referring to your bank. So again, LR. Rent is your expenses. When expenses increase, so you will debit the rental expenses. When bank is your asset decrease, so you will credit the bank account. How much? It is for 500 ringgit. So buka lagi rental account, rental expense account. Okay, debit, credit. So since you debiting your rental expense, so on 6th of January, the particulars will be bank RM 500. So bank kita dah buka juga. Okay, so 6 January. Okay, 6th of January. So kita credit kan, so kita letak bahagian credit. Nama dia rental expense 500 ringgit. Okay, like this. So we done. The example is income. On 10 January, receive cash commission of 2,000. Receive cash. So, of course, your cash will increase. Commission of 2,000. So, commission you pun increase. Cash is your asset. How about commission? Commission is your revenue. Income. Okay, commission income. So when asset increase, you will debit the cash. When revenue increase, you will credit. So credit commission income for 2,000. Okay, 2,000. So now kita buat ledger. Ada tak cash? Kita pernah buka cash? Tak ada lagi. Okay, nah, kita pun buka cash account. Cash account, debit, credit. So on 10 January, so you kata here commission income lah. Okay, for 2,000. Commission, buka pula commission account, commission income account. Ledger dia. Okay, so this debit side, this is credit side. So on 10 of January, since you credit, so tulis belah credit. So you can tulis cash kat particulars ni. So cash RM 2,000. Okay, so next is inventory. So increase in inventory is due to purchases of goods and sales return or return inwards. Okay, ni dua ni akan menyebabkan increase in inventory. So dalam dalam soalan nanti you akan alert ada dua jenis return, return inwards dan juga return outward. Okay, return inward, return outward. So dua jenis return, return inward satu, another one is return outward. So apa itu return inward? Return inward is sales return. Ya, sales return ni ataupun return, nama lain dia return inward. Return outward ni ialah purchase return ni. Purchase return ataupun nama lain dia return outwards. Jangan tertukar. Okay, macam mana you all nak ingat return inward? Ingat duit. Duit masuk. Siapa yang bagi you duit masuk? Customer. So, bila customer, it will relate with your sales. So, kalau return inward, it is referring to sales. Okay? Ini yang macam mana I remember lah. Return inward tu is akan ditolakkan di dalam sales. Kalau return outward, duit keluar. So bila duit keluar, kita beli, purchase lah maksudnya. Kita beli is referring to the purchase. So maksudnya return inward is referring to the purchase return. Okay, you can tahu return inward and return outward. So we will refer page 44 lebih detail. So now let's go to this example lah. So 17 January bought goods worth 400 from Aladdin by check. Bila dia kata bought goods, maksudnya Aladdin ni is your account payable lah, is your supplier. Okay, so of course check bank you akan decrease. Bought goods, bila bought goods maksudnya dia purchase expenses. You punya purchase expenses will increase. Okay, purchase expenses. So you will debit. Since you punya expenses increase, so you will debit your purchase. Since your bank is your asset, since your assets decrease, so you will ni kan increase. So since you decrease, you can credit bank. How much is 400? 100. So bank kita buka tadi. So kita boleh letak lagi. Credit bank 417. 17 bank, okay. 17 Januari. Purchase 400. Okay. So next kita pun akan buka purchase account. Debit side, credit side. Purchase. So on 17 January, particulars dia kita letak bank 400. Okay. Kenapa I tak buka account payable? Pada Aladdin ni. Aladdin ni akan ada, dia cakap by credit. Maksudnya ni dia bayar, tapi dia bayar menggunakan cek. So samalah bank ataupun cash tu sama je. Sebab tu dia takkan jadi sebagai kita punya liability. Dia ni bukan kita punya liability sebab kita bayar dia. Okay? Tapi I just nak tunjuk lah, sebab kata goods kan, so lah dia ni comparable kita lah kalau kita beli secara kredit. Okay, so next, discount, trade discount, cash discount, carriage inward and carriage outward. Okay, balancing off ledger accounts. Okay, you will refer page 61. So purpose dia to determine how much balance left in each account or balance at the end of the month. Okay, so kita akan ada 3 jenis balancing figure lah. Yang pertama ialah debit balance, second ialah credit balance, third ialah zero balance. So kita akan panggil dia sebagai debit balance if the total debit is more than the total credit. So kita akan panggil dia debit balance. Kalau credit balance maksudnya kredit tu lebih banyak daripada debit side lah. Whereas kalau zero balance, kalau kedua-duanya sama, debit side and credit side is equal. So kita cuba buat this one. Kalau purchase account ni, maksudnya dia ada debit balance sebab debit side dia lebih besar daripada credit side dia. Tapi kita akan tulis balancing figure dia, contoh 31 Januari lah. Biasa balancing kita akan buat at the end of the month. So kita akan tulis balance carried down 400. Sebab kena ingat, it is double entry. Maksudnya debit and credit side at the end mesti kena sama. Okay, sebab tu balancing figure, sebab tu kita akan ada balancing figure. So ini contoh pertama. Second, okay, since tengok commission income, dia ada credit side dia lebih higher than your debit side, so we call it as credit balance. Tapi kita akan tulis dia belah debit lah, balance carried down 2000. Kalau cash ialah debit balance. Pak, belah debit dia banyak, so debit balance. So 31st on January, balance carried down 2000. Wajib kena tutup account setiap akhir bulan, you kena tutup account. Okay, enter pun sama, dia ada debit balance. So 31st January, so balance carried down RM 500. Okay, so next, capital pula. So since credit balance is bigger than debit balance, so we call it as credit balance. So capital have credit balance of 10,000. So on 31st of January, balance carried down RM 10,000. Okay, so next, Jati Prabut. So we're going to say that Jati Prabut will have the credit balance because credit figure is higher than the debit. So we will put on the debit side, we will put on the 31st of January has balance carried down 1000. Okay, why we put here? Because you must ensure that debit and credit is equal. Okay, so that's why on debit side pun mesti kena ada figure. So untuk membalancekan dia, kita bawa je lah turun. Maksud balance carried down ni bawa turun 3 1000 macam tu. Okay, sebab tu inilah balancing off, untuk membalancekan dia. So dia has a imaginary account lah. Okay, imaginary number. Okay, so kalau untuk equipment pula, we call it as equipment will have a debit balance, has debit figure is higher than credit figure. Credit yang kosong. Okay. So on 31st of January, balancing of figure, balance carried down is 10,000. 10 ke? 1,000 je. Okay, 1,000. So next, computer also have a debit balance. So on 31st of January, the balancing of figure, balance carried down is 2,500. Next, bank pula. Okay, so tengok bank kat sini. Bank both ada figure on debit and credit side. So, you total up dulu. 2,500 plus 500 plus 400. So, we will have 3,400. Okay, so now only you can compare the debit side and credit side. Since on the debit side of bank here have a 10,000, so bank also will have a debit balance. Okay, so balancing of the 31st January, the balance carried down will be, okay, so the balance carried down will be 10,000, this figure on debit side, minus with total of credit side, that is 3,400. So you will have 6,600. Okay. Macam ni. Okay. So you punya ledger mesti macam ni, akan ada balance carried down and then balancing figure wajib sama. Ni pun nanti aku buatlah total kat sini 2,500, 2,500. So dalam assignment you, bila you kena prepare ledger, you mesti kena ada semua benda ni. Date, debit, credit, account title, particulars, RM. Okay, total lah. Ni pun total lah 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. Okay, you nak show yang balance lah. Debit and credit tu balance. Okay. So next, kita akan pergi kepada, okay, ni kan kita tahu dah apa tu debit balance, credit balance and zero balance. I hope you understand. Okay, so now balancing of accounts and the trial balance. At the end of a period, usually a month, the accounts are balanced. That's why, tengok sini I tulis on 31st January. Okay, at the end of the month. Okay, usually a month the accounts are balanced. That is, the debit and credit entries are total, and the difference is then entered as the balancing figure, or simply called imaginatively, of course, the balance. Okay, so balance figure tu contoh dia bank account tadi lah, sebab you nampak kan, belah debit pun ada figure, belah credit pun ada figure, so kita tolak kan untuk dapatkan balance figure tu. Alright. The balance of the accounts are listed in a statement called the trial balance, which lists the accounts according to the balance. In other words, the debit balance is listed on the debit side and the credit balance is listed on the credit side. Okay, so however, ledger accounts with zero balance are excluded from the trial balance. Okay, so maksudnya yang kita buat ledger ni, this one, nanti kita akan post dia into trial balance. Dalam trial balance tu, kita akan ada name of company, okay, ABC sentian berhad. Okay, a trial balance has at 31st January 2020. Okay, so dia pun akan masukkanlah purchase. So purchase, and then dia pun akan ada kat sini debit and credit. Since kita dah classify yang purchase account ni have a debit balance, so kita akan letak dia dalam debit side. Okay, so trial balance dia macam ni lah, trial balance. Tu yang dia cuba sampaikan. Okay, trial balance pre-adjusted. A trial balance is a list of all ledger's accounts with balances at a particular date. So ledger tadi kan you buka one by one punya account kan. You buka office equipment, you buka bank, you buka cash, you buka capital. Sekarang ni trial balance ni you include semua, bank, cash, and then purchase, capital. Okay, you letak semua dalam trial balance. Okay, so the trial balance is an important document in that it checks the accuracy of the entries in the recording process. Although this list does not detect all the inaccuracies and error. Okay, so maksudnya trial balance ni penting untuk dia check ketepatan, sama ada betul tak kita record kita punya journal entries tu. Okay, tapi dia bukanlah detect semua, sebab dia pun ada errors dia tersendiri. Okay, so rules of trial balance, you must remember debit balance equal to total credit balance. Total debit balance equal to total credit balance. Okay, so the trial balance then serve as a basis of preparing a financial statement. Alright, so first kali kita akan buat journal entry. From this journal entry ni yang debit credit classifykan which one debit, which one is credit. Okay, after journal entry you akan buat ledger accounts or T accounts tadi, and then from this T account you dah pun balancing off semua, so kita akan transferkan into trial balance. From this trial balance then only kita akan prepare the financial statement. Financial statement ni yang mana? Yang SOPL, SOFP ni, dua format ni yang you all cover. Okay, dia ada 5 lagi financial statement, but this one 2 je yang kita cover, the ACC 106, right? So next, okay, trial balance, a listing of all accounts balances in the ledger according to the debit and credit balance. Okay lah, trial balance. Okay, so if the double entry and principal is applied correctly, the total debit balances should equal to the total credit balance. Ni dia punya rules. Okay, so why we must prepare the trial balance? Okay, first, to check whether the debit is equal to the credit. Okay, ni first purpose kenapa kita buat trial balance. Second, to identify any error in journalizing and posting. Journalizing ni journal entry lah, and credit. Posting to posting into the accounts, which accounts. Okay, third, we prepared this trial balance to assist the preparation of financial statement. So these are the purposes of trial balance. So now let's take a look at the format of trial balance. Ni lah saya cakap, you mesti kena ada name of the company, and then you mesti kena ada title. You buat apa ni? Statement apa? You buat trial balance as at bila, tarikh. Okay, so we must have the particulars, name of account, apa, asset account, expenses, income, apa lah. Okay, then debit side and credit side. Okay, this one. Ni format lama. Okay, so this one sama je lah macam tadi. Okay, Oh, cara susun dia. So dia susun. Okay, nampak tak? Again, guna akronim dia LR. So bila asset and expenses, dia akan berada di belah debit bila dia increase kan. Since kita kan decide dia tu sama ada ledger tu debit balance or credit balance based on which one is higher kan. So kalau debit balance, maksudnya ni lah account asset and equity lah. Maksudnya kat sini debit ni mestilah hanyalah untuk asset and expenses sahaja. Sorry, equity pula cakap, sorry asset and expenses sahaja perlu ada di belah debit ni. Manakala untuk kredit, untuk liability, earnings equity and revenue. Liability, equity. So kalau macam you tengok tiba-tiba liability you di sebelah debit, maksudnya you salah tu. Unless contoh negative figure, account payable, unless lah, tapi rarely happen. Okay, sebab apa maksud dia account payable you negative, you pula berhutang dengan supplier you, macam tu. Okay, ni example je lah. So now kita akan take a look at the errors in trial balance. So errors in trial balance ni kita akan belajar two type of errors. There are errors affecting the trial balance, and second is the errors not affecting the trial balance. Okay, so maksud error affecting ni, maksudnya you punya trial balance tu total debit and total credit is not the same. So if it's not the same, automatically you tahu trial balance you salah. So kenapa trial balance you boleh salah ni? Sebab these are the reason. Single entry, error of transposition, error of addition, error in addition, posting to incorrect side of account, errors in trial balance itself. Itu errors affecting the trial balance. You must know, okay? So second error, errors not affecting the trial balance. Maksudnya trial balance you sama, total debit and is equal to the total credit. Nevertheless, your trial balance is error. Why can this happen? Due to all these errors. Okay, so now kita akan tengok one by one. Errors affecting trial balance agreement. Affecting, which means that total debit is not equal to total credit. Okay, what happened? First, because single entry. Accounting kan menggunakan double entry system. Maksudnya you must record dua, iaitu debit satu, credit satu. But now you only record one side only, single entry. So obviously it will affect your trial balance. Okay, single entry or omission of part of an entry. Only one aspect of transaction is recorded. Itulah maksud single entry. Okay, second, errors of transposition. Maksud dia, figures are written in the wrong order. That is, debiting has 1329 and crediting accounts with different amount, 1392. Nampak tak? This is called as errors of transposition. You salah tulis. Errors of transposition. So bila you salah tulis, of course 1329 berbeza dengan 1392. Okay, so of course it will affect your trial balance. Second error, third error is errors in addition in ledger accounts. Addition errors when adding the debit and credit side of an account. It will cause the balancing figure to be incorrect. Okay, you salah tambah. So of course bila you salah tambah, balancing figure tu yang mana? Yang I cakap balance carried down tu. Okay, contoh yang bank tu kan. Okay, So ada sini ada 10,000, here 3,400. Okay, tapi you salah kira, tiba-tiba balance carried down you sebagai 6,500 contoh salah kira. Okay, so of course dah pun affect, sebab balance ni yang akan kita record di dalam try balance. Okay, you jangan confuse pula. Okay, kat sini sebab itu yang sama, saya akan tunjuk yang bank punya. Okay, bank balance figure dia ni 6,600 ni. So nanti yang akan you record di dalam try balance bank, dia ada ialah debit balance, right? So of course di sebelah debit, tapi figure yang you akan record not this 10,000 but this 6,600, the balancing figure. Inilah yang balancing figure kita, balance carried down ni. Ni tu figure dia. Jangan salah record pula. Alright, beware. So next kita akan tengok posting to the incorrect side of an account. Okay, the debit and credit side of transaction is posted to the wrong side of an account. Okay, for example, there are 2 debits or 2 credit. For example, you record dua-dua di sebelah debit. You debit cash, you pun debit bank. Contoh, sepatutnya kena debit cash, credit bank, tapi you buat dua-dua debit. So obviously it will also affect your try balance. Okay, next error is error in try balance itself. Maksudnya error when transferring the account balance from the ledger into the try balance. Okay, macam ni lah macam tadi. Sepatutnya you ambil figure balance carried down tu, tapi alah ni sama, tak best. Bank sepatutnya you ambil 6,600, tapi you ambil 10,000 pergi masuk kan sebelah debit 10,000. Of course you punya debit and credit tak sama. Melainkan kalau you buat daripada awal kesalahan yang sama, akan jadi sama lah debit and credit you. Okay, so itulah errors in try balance itself. You salah masukkan journal you betul, ledger you betul, tapi you salah posting dalam you punya try balance. Okay, so now let's take a look at the errors not affecting try balance agreement, which means you punya total debit is equal to total credit, not affecting. Okay, so you rasa macam betul, sebenarnya try balance itu salah. Why is this happening? Because error of omission. The transaction is totally omitted from the books. Maksudnya you memang tak record terus transaction tu. Totally omitted. You memang tak record terus. Okay, sebab tu error of omission ni will not affect your try balance. Sebab tak record kedua-dua belah debit credit, so still sama, debit and credit you still sama. Okay, so next error is error of commission. Error of commission is a correct amount is entered but in the wrong person's account. So maksudnya you post amount yang betul dan di dalam account yang sama kategori. For example, you salah masuk dalam asset, you punya account receivable lah. Let's sepatutnya credit sales to Ahmad, tapi masuk untuk Ali Ali punya account, tapi Ali dengan Ahmad tu still you punya account receivable. So total account receivable you still akan sama, cuma you terbalik account. Okay, that is called error of commission, right? Next is error of principle. Error of principle ni is an item is entered in the wrong class of account. Okay, you masuk salah kategori. For example, cost untuk repair van tu, you debitkan dekat van. Sepatutnya dia dalam kita repair, sepatutnya you masukkan under expenses, tapi you masukkan under van tu. Van tu ialah asset. So that's why here an item is entered in the wrong class of account, tapi debit credit you sama. Okay, so next error is error of original entry. The original figure is incorrect, yet double entry observed using the incorrect figure. Maksudnya error of original entry ni, you punya daripada you punya journal entry lagi dah salah. You salah record journal entry, salah figure lah. Okay, incorrect figure. So since you punya journal, okay, contohnya debit credit sepatutnya 56 tapi tulis 65. Okay, so since daripada permulaan lagi journal entry you lagi dah salah, so account ni betul. Contohlah asset ni, contoh purchase. Okay, contoh, so ni betul, account betul, ni betul, cuma number ni salah. So it's called as error of original entry. Permulaan entry kita tu dah salah. Okay, since this sama, so it will not affect your trial balance. So the last error is complete reversal of error. So correct accounts are used, but each item is shown on the wrong side of the account. Okay, so this error arises when the amount of the account are correct, but each item is shown on the wrong side. Maksudnya amount tu sama, cuma salah side account je. Okay, contoh kita bayar account payable, so the correct entry is debit account payable and credit cash. Contoh, okay, debit account payable and credit cash. Tapi apa yang you buat ialah you debit cash, credit account payable. So complete reversal, itu balik. Okay, complete reversal of entry. So I hope you can differentiate between the errors that's not affecting and errors affecting the trial balance. Okay, so that's all. Thank you.